Adam, how have you found the first couple of games here? Obviously there's a big difference just on paper with your results in Game 2 compared to Game 1.
Yeah, I think the wickets were quite similar both games. I guess you could probably put it down to the way we bowled in the first game was much better than the way we bowled in the second game. We're obviously disappointed with that, chasing 290 on a wicket like that with their spinners doing the job in the second innings on a tiring pitch. We've got a lot of work to do to try and continue to play like we did in the first game.
But I mean, your bowling in particular, you sort of got 3 for in the second game. Did you feel like you took some learnings out of your first game into Wednesday's game?
No, not really. I thought I bowled pretty well the first game too. And then they played a couple of nice shots. I had some different game plans to them in the second game, probably a few different field positions. Protected the sweep a little bit more, and obviously tried to make it, hit some slog shots down the ground, and that worked for me a little bit. But yeah, I think the wickets were pretty similar, and yeah, it's a nice learning curve to be able to bowl on these wickets. They're a bit slower, and hopefully it'll be nice to get a bowl in the second innings soon, hopefully.
Have you gleaned anything from watching the Sri Lankan spinners? Well, they're bowling a different kind of trajectory and style altogether, but is there anything that they do on these pitches that you can take into yours?
We've spoken a lot about the straight ball. Obviously it's hard with the angles they bowl, the finger spinners. They go wide of the crease and angle a lot into leg stump. They've said it themselves, they don't know which ones are going to turn, which ones are going to go straight. So that's something that I guess me and Gazza can try and emulate as much as we can too.
It was handy to get one early in the last game with the wrong one. That one's coming out pretty well for you?
Yeah, actually I hadn't bowled one up until then, and pretty much in the whole series. I've to the right-hander, I'd mainly sliders, attack the stumps, but yeah, I thought probably a good opportunity to try and get a wicket this in that time of the game. So luckily it paid off.
You mentioned hopefully bowling in the second innings. I think that the suggestion here is that the Quicks might get something out of the first innings, and in the second innings in the evening session, that's where you might get a bit more turn.
Yeah, I guess none of us have actually played here before, but on paper it suggests that the medium pacers do the bulk of the work here, according to stats. But I think going off the last 2 games, I don't think we'd probably expect something like that. I think we'll probably see something similar to what we've seen earlier.
The 3 wickets of the night, does that sort of give you confidence moving forward, or were you comfortable with how they're coming out regardless?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the way they're coming out. You can never really be comfortable in a team like this. There's always someone breathing down your neck, and particularly with the calibre of Quicks that we got as well. It's one of those things where you have to grab every opportunity that you can, and I'm trying to do that. I'm still confident with my spot in the team, but in saying that too, it only takes a couple of slow performances, and then you someone else is breathing down your neck, as I said.
There's been a bit of talk after the Test series about specialists for subcontinental conditions, especially for the India Test matches coming up. Do you look at red ball cricket in the period coming up? Is there something in red ball cricket you need to work on, or you want to do over the next few months?
Yeah, I've said in the media before that to me, I obviously want to play Test cricket, and I still think I'm a while off that. But in saying that, I've only played 4 first class games in the last 12 months or so. So it'd be nice to get some red ball cricket under my belt. But I just want to keep improving, and I feel like the bowler that I am now compared to 12 months ago or 18 months ago, I feel like I have improved.
Do you feel like you can get a shot at it? Have you spoken to Jamie and guys back in Adelaide about getting a decent run at it, red ball cricket during the summer? Or?
Well, I've always had a decent shot. It's just conditions didn't really suit me this year. There was a couple of games where I bowled 3 overs or 4 overs the whole game. There was one at the MCG on a green seam where I only bowled 2. So there was limited opportunity last year, and it's not the bad thing when all your Quicks are getting the wickets. But yeah, hopefully some opportunities arise soon.
Is it going to be hard to get a game for SA if Travis is playing as a spinning batsman?
No, I'm pretty comfortable with my position in that team as well. Particularly, what I contribute with the bat and as a leader in that side as well. It would be nice if we could have an all-rounder batting at 6 as well. That would help our Quicks. Obviously, the likes of Frankie Worrell, Joe Manny, who are probably close to Test selection too. I guess it'd be nice to give them a rest every now and then and have an all-rounder at 6. But we don't really have that luxury at the moment. So I think having me and Travis bowling as well, it's probably needed for us.
Can you tell us about the sort of jump you found going from domestic cricket, where you had a lot of success, up to international cricket now over the past few months?
Yeah, I guess what I've experienced so far here in the Caribbean has really suited me, and it's the same as what we've experienced in the Matador Cup too, with playing a lot of games in Sydney. I've been pretty lucky in terms of that. So It's going to be in terms of the calibre of player is a different story. But yeah, the conditions have been pretty similar to what I've been used to, so that's been a nice, probably just way into international cricket.
Is that more, talking about the pitches in Sydney, given they were, quite low and slow, particularly last year?
Yeah, pretty much. Matador a couple of moments. The ones that were in Sydney last year was win the toss, bat, and it was hard to get beat. So, the conditions did suit me. We won the toss quite a bit, and I've held second quite a lot last year. So, the conditions are pretty similar here.
So some leggies like the bounce. You like the low, slow conditions?
No, not necessarily. I've obviously played, 50, 20, 20s or so now all around Australia, and the conditions probably suit me even more when the ball is sliding on. I'm a bowler that attacks the stumps as much as I can. So, the old variable bounce and sliding onto the stumps isn't the worst thing for me either.
Who do you work with back in Adelaide? Adam, mainly sort of from spin bowling wise, is someone that Mako hang around?
No one really in particular in Adelaide. I do a lot of work with Trent Woodhill, who's at Melbourne Stars. I talk to him quite a bit, and he's seen my bowling since I was about 14 or 15. I try and get as much out of him as I can. But obviously last year during my time at the Stars, and then I always try and work with him as much as I can.
And I mean, yes, you can warn his name being thrown up, but have you done any work with him? Or he's always keen to for turning Yasser Shah's game around and things like that.
Yeah.
Has he reached out to you, or you reached out to him?
Yeah, we've had a couple of chats. He actually came into the game after a Big Bash semi-final last year, into the shed, sorry, and we had a few words, more tactical than anything else. I have worked with him when I was younger, 17 or 18, and he was all tactical, which is fine. He was probably, that's why he was so good. So it's always great to try and talk to those guys.
Thanks.